You ever see a $47,000 Escalade commit suicide on a Tuesday morning? I have. And the crazy part is, after months of watching Brenda Hawthorne smash through my gates like she was auditioning for a demolition derby, I finally got to watch her take out her own car instead. Let me paint the scene. The crunch of splintered cedar under my boots, the air thick with the smell of victory, and yes, every second caught on camera. If karma has a sense of humor, it's got a dash cam and a replay button. You probably wonder how things ever got to that point. How a guy like me, Jake, ends up at war with the queen of the HOA, out in what's supposed to be peaceful Ridgewood. Truth is, 6 months ago, I thought the worst thing that could happen to a man was losing his wife to cancer. Turns out, grief's got nothing on a neighbor with too much time, too much money, and a personal vendetta against your ugly cattle gate. Back it up 3 years. My wife, Sarah, my whole damn world, gone in 6 months to pancreatic cancer. 27 years, just over. After, it felt like every corner of that house was haunted. Her laugh, her lavender shampoo, her damn cookbooks still open on the counter. I'd sit there at night, thinking maybe I'd just fade out too. That's when Uncle Frank's lawyer called. 12 acres and a creaky old farmhouse, my inheritance. Out here, the quiet's so thick you can hear your heart. Frank, God rest him, was no fool. He had his access road grandfathered in way before McMansion fever hit Ridgewood. My easement? Ironclad since 1952. Long before the first soccer mom set her sights on a 3-car garage and matching mailboxes. But you know what saved me? 6 rescue cows. They weren't just livestock. Feeding those big, dumb animals at sunrise, well, it gave me a reason to get out of bed. You ever see a grown man talk to a cow about his feelings? Don't knock it till you've tried. Now, enter Brenda Hawthorne. I remember the first morning I met her, brisk October, the kind where your breath fogs up. She pulls up my drive in heels longer than my patience, all click-clack and perfume and concerns about your agricultural activities. I showed her my easement paperwork, offered to build a prettier gate just for her peace of mind. Spent $3 grand and 100 hours on that thing. A hand-welded steel frame, smooth cedar planks, fancy enough for a magazine. She gave me a look like I'd handed her a dead fish. How rustic, she said, like the word was a disease. Maybe I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. Brenda, with her 8,000 square foot palace, her perfect lawn, and her army of HOA minions. Every roomer in Ridgewood had her flipping houses and bending every rule just enough to cash out big. And my little farm? That was her eyesore, her financial threat. It started simple. One Tuesday, I'm nursing a cup of coffee. Hear that Escalade engine revving outside. There she is backing up, gunning at 40 miles an hour, and BM, my beautiful gate, gone in a cloud of cedar splinters. My cows run for their lives. I walk out, mug in hand, and she gives me this smirk like, what are you going to do about it? I try to joke, told her she missed the latch. She just drove off. Right then, I knew this wasn't neighborly drama. This was war. She didn't even wait a week before coming for me with paperwork. Certified letter. Emergency HOA meeting mid-morning on a Thursday when any sane person's at work. The agenda read like a bad spy novel. Safety violations, non-compliant structures, translation. How do we run Jake out of town? I went anyway. The room reeked of stale coffee and stronger perfume. Brenda played dictator, her little board nodding along as she ran through photos of my gate. 17 angles, measurements, and accusations. They passed a regulation on the spot. I had 30 days to make my gate removable for emergency personnel, or it'd cost me $500 a day in fines. Sarah always said, when people gang up with paperwork, they're usually hiding something ugly. So I did what she would have done, dug deeper. Next morning, I was at the county courthouse, down in the records room with Martha, a file clerk sharp enough to catch a rat in a hayloft. We went through every deed and plat since Eisenhower was president. Turns out, My easement rights were permanent, not subject to the HOA or any suburban queen. I walked out grinning like a kid with a slingshot. But see, when you corner a bully, they don't back down, they double down. Brenda did everything but drop a piano on my head. She started snapping photos of my cows at sunrise, filing bogus complaints about diseased livestock, gossiping about my illegal operation. The whole circus. That's when I built Supergate 2.0. My old gate looked just like the last. Cedar planks, smooth stain, but under the hood, it was reinforced steel. Wood grain vinyl over a skeleton that could stop a freight train. Even built breakaway panels for dramatic effect. My buddy Roy, he's an ex-cop with a thing for gadgets, helped me rig up cameras, motion sensors, the works. One day, Roy's peering through a zoom lens and spots Brenda's landscapers dumping yard waste into the wetlands behind her house. Protected wetlands, mind you, the kind you don't mess with unless you want federal fines. So, we started documenting. Photos, GPS, everything, uploaded to the cloud in triplicate. Brenda was so busy accusing me of running a biohazard, she didn't notice she was building her own indictment. Twist number 1? Turns out Brenda had pulled this scam before. A neighbor named Tom came by, retired history teacher, sharp as a tack. Over a couple beers, he told me Brenda had terrorized other families until they sold cheap. Then she'd flip their houses for a tidy profit. Always the same playbook. By the time I'd finished Supergate 2.0, my plan was set. Cameras ready, steel disguised, sensors rolling. I left the gate looking as fragile as ever. All I had to do was wait. Didn't have to wait long. Friday morning, here comes Brenda in her silver war chariot, eyes locked on my gate. I'm inside, coffee in hand, watching through the window. She lines up, backs up, gunning it harder than ever. What she doesn't know is this time, my gate's not made to break. My gate's here to teach a lesson. 40 miles an hour, boom. Wood explodes. Steel stands firm. The Escalade? That poor SUV crumples like a soda can. Airbags pop, steam hissing from the hood. I walk out slow, casual mug still steaming. Morning, Brenda. Looks like you missed the latch again. She's in shock, trying to process how her intimidation machine just lost a fight with Newton's laws. She tries to say I booby-trapped my own gate. But cameras don't lie. For angles, all showing her lining up, gunning it and ramming through. Insurance company takes one look at the footage and just laughs. She's left footing the $47,000 repair bill. My gate? $200 and an afternoon with a drill and some stain. Now, you'd think that'd be enough to end things, right? Oh, not Brenda. Within 48 hours, my mailbox is full of legal threats, cease and desist letters, accusations of criminal intent with a deadly gate. She even hires a lawyer to spin tales of assault. What Brenda doesn't get is old mechanics like me. We keep receipts. We record everything. This is when Susan comes in, a retired attorney from down the street. She'd watched the whole circus and wanted in. She takes one look at my mountain of evidence, harassment, destruction, bogus fines, and nearly claps her hands in glee. This woman just handed us a harassment case on a silver platter, she says. Together, we filed charges for property destruction, civil harassment, even go after her real estate license. And the cherry on top? That stack of wetland dumping evidence. EPA fines starred in the tens of thousands. Brenda's empire, built on intimidation and creative rule-bending, is crumbling. Meanwhile, Tom and a few other neighbors start sharing their own stories. Turns out, the whole neighborhood's sick of Brenda. A Facebook group pops up, anonymous but loud. People are mad, and for once not at me. And as Brenda's grip on the HOA slips, all her power plays start to backfire. Her board allies resign. The new folks live stream meetings, post budgets online. Property values actually go up now that the tyrant's gone. But Brenda doesn't go quietly. Late-night calls, a private investigator parked out front, even a midnight vandalism attempt. Caught in night vision, crowbar in hand, spray paint can. Her undoing plays out on camera, every misstep cataloged. Finally, it all comes to a head at an HOA meeting meant to condemn my property, her last gasp at power. The room is packed, her own lawyers sweating as Susan stands up with a folder of evidence. Brenda watches in horror as, one by one, every dirty trick, every crime, every petty abuse flashes on the projector. And then in walks the EPA investigator with a warrant, slaps Brenda with federal charges right in front of the entire neighborhood. They lead her out in cuffs, click of her heels drowned out by applause and 100 sighs of relief. In that moment, it's not just about a gate or a field of cows. It's about finally seeing justice hit back. You know, I used to think the best revenge was payback. Now I think it's building something strong enough to outlast the people who try to tear you down. Brenda's real estate career? Gone. Her empire of fear? Gone. The HOA, reborn with actual rules and transparency. The neighbors, friendlier than I ever thought possible. These days, kids wave when they pass my fence. The Supergate's a bit of a local legend. People come to see where the dictator of Ridgewood met her match. The fund Sarah dreamed of to help folks fight HOA bullies is up and running. 31 families helped in the first year. I sit here with my coffee most mornings, sun rising over the pasture, cows chewing contentedly. Sometimes I think of Sarah, how she'd laugh at the way things turned out. The best victories aren't always about revenge. They're about making sure no one else has to fight alone. So what about you? Ever stare down a petty tyrant in your neighborhood? Where's the line between standing up for yourself and becoming what you hate? Drop a comment, share your story. Because if we don't speak up, these folks keep driving through our lives like there's no consequences. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes the gate hits back.